For our topic, we chose to do criminal profiling. I'm Jason Carroll.
Amy Oster.
Criminal profiling, as stated by a retired FBI agent, is basically reverse engineering a crime. And that was found in a Wired video from 2019 at 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
The earliest known use of profiling dates back to 38 CE, according to Turvey in his 2012 text. In 1486, we have the first published text, which is the Malleus Maleficarum, the witch's hammer, used in witch hunts. And then in 1888, we have Jack the Ripper case, where two police pathologists or surgeons used wind pattern analysis to infer the level of skill used in the crime.
Profiling is a relatively new field that exists somewhere between law enforcement and psychology, as stated by Weinerman in her 2004 work in paragraph 5. The development of profiling has included investigators, behavioral scientists, social scientists, and forensic scientists, which was listed by Turvey in their 2012 work.
So then we come into a huge issue that we came across, which is who are the experts? We have the investigators on one side and the psychologists, scientists on the other. And so it really comes down to an argument based on how valuable investigative experience is.
So we have diagnostic evaluations, which are based on clinical practice, knowledge of personality theories and psychological disorders, and the diagnosis of the psychopathology and or personality type. And all of those factors are listed by Wilson and other researchers in their 1997 work in the section of approaches to profiling. And two examples where this was used were from psychiatrist William Langer's profile of Adolf Hitler and Dr. James A. Brussels' profile of the New York City Mad Bomber in 1956. And Adolf Hitler's information was found from Pinizzotto in 1984, page 637, and the information about the Mad Bomber was found in Turvey's 2012 work on page 33.
Our next approach is criminal investigative analysis, which is what most people think of, developed by the FBI based on their interviews with serial killers. And according to Pinizzotto, it is that by analyzing the details, the what of the crime, we can then determine the why, which is the modus operandi. And then knowing those two things, we can then get to what type of person or who is most likely to have committed the crime.
Another form of criminal profiling is investigative psychology. It makes inferences that are derived from the actions in an offense about the characteristics of the offender that will be useful to an investigation. The profiling equation serves as a framework for establishing relationships between an offender's actions and their characteristics, as found in the 2011 work by Cantor.
There are some ethical concerns with the use of profiling, specifically racial profiling. As everyone's heard of these days, driving while black or brown, stop and frisk. We also have ethnic profiling, which would be, good examples would be the Chinese during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then Wilson et al. Also wrote about the use of stereotyping and bias and how that can affect profiling. So the way this is relevant to my chosen career path, which is working with juveniles in the justice system, is that I'm a big believer in the fact that you need to know the why and understand the why behind a behavior in order to change the behavior. So I hope to, hopefully by working with these young people about the things that have led up to that moment in their life that they were arrested, that maybe we can break the cycle of them becoming an adult offender.
I personally want to go into counseling kids. Sorry, don't know why I forgot the word kids for a second. I found some similarities with profiling that are kind of like how, for instance, when assessing clients in counseling, one part of it is to try to match up symptoms in the DSM-5 if they're, or whatever the current version of the DSM is, whenever there is concern that there might be a disorder there. And that is sort of similar to how with profiling you're given a general set of, here is what this looks
There's
like.
a situation.
Yeah, there's a situation that's discussed. And yeah. And then interviewing people close to counseling clients is also something kind of similar to what profiling does, where they interview victims to try to get a better idea of the personality and characteristics of the offender, which I thought was kind of interesting.
And that is the end of our presentation. Thanks.